flow control. Stream of consciousness, artistic expression. This is art. Just art. And more. If you want it to be more. Responsible success. 2 words. I have never once heard anybody put those words together. Not one single time in over half a century of being alive. Responsible success together. That doesn't mean that I believe that people are not pressing towards responsible success. It's just that nobody's using those words. Wow, my glasses are dirty. Goodness gracious. These need to be cleaned. Clean the glasses. Clean them. I'm going to use these lights there. Gently, don't want to scratch anything. Get all that nice and clean. This is not a waste of time. This is art. Remember, this is art. Shit. I can use this one side now. I can't use the dirty side. It's not really dirty. I'm cleaning my glasses. Okay. Is that there? Did I get it? Sometimes it kind of smudges a little bit more. This is not a place of perfection. This is a place of honesty. Playful nonsense, plenty of playful nonsense. No serious nonsense allowed ever when surfing the spirit wave. Done. This is the buildup. The buildup to the proper resonating expression of this artistic piece that spans all of my artistic expressions and relevantly beyond. There's no shovel over there. If you are the 1 or 2 other people at this time who are viewing this and not liking this, there's no shovel over there. Why? There is a massive snowstorm coming. Down there too. And so I'm going to use this shovel, which is symbolism. All this crazy looking shit is symbolism. It reflects the world we live in, right? So the shovel represents hard physical labor. Sometimes we need the shovel to move the snow so we can flow within our lives. And that's what I gotta do once it stops snowing. That's all right though. I don't know, I like shoveling a little bit. A little bit. Gets to be too much, well, that's painful. But a little bit of work, getting out in that cold weather, I like it. All right, responsible success. That's what this is all about. How do we improve that for ourselves? How does this expression of art connect with enough of you so that you're like, hey, I want to be a part of this build-up. This is a build-up. You think this is it? This is the peak? This is the peak? No, it's a build-up. An artistic crescendo into the fullest expression of It's the buildup. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. It's a buildup. What the fuck do you need more than that? Okay? It's a buildup. Just trust me. Do I look like I'm someone you can't trust? Do I look like that? Look at me. Do I look like someone you can't trust? Responsible success. Who the fuck is using those words? Nobody. 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 Not one single other person, to the best of my knowledge, has ever taken those words and put them together and say, yes, responsible success is the true success. It's being responsible, which is great for surviving and thriving, and then it's rewarding. You see? It works. It works really, really brilliantly. Responsible success. That's how I work. That's how I rest. I'm imperfect at it because we're all imperfect at it, but that's the compass, the mind compass. Where do I need to go? I'm lost. Where do I go? Well, where does responsible success, where is the instinct? Where does my gut, so to speak, tell me to go? And wherever responsible success dictates I go, I go. Why not? What else am I going to do? Look at this shit. Look at the world we live in. What's the hot strategy? Game theory. We're going to talk a lot about game theory in these upcoming journal entries. I'm still new at it, so it's kind of loose. But when you take game theory and you add spirit wave is supreme game theory. And I mean demonstrably supreme game theory. But we're building up. This is all build-up shit. I'm freaking spittle flying out of my mouth. So, for now, the artistic expression, game theory, is a frame. It demonstrates the short-sighted expression of humanity and the problem that arises from it. Which way do I want to travel? I've come to the fork in the road. Which way do I go? Responsible success tells me I should go with the game theoretical example that I don't know the name of it, but I know the example, kind of, I think. You are given $100, but there's a catch. In a room next door is a stranger. And in order for you to keep the money, you have to share some of it with the stranger. Now, you can divide it up however you want. 1 penny goes to the stranger, you keep the rest. Right? Now, if the stranger rejects it and says, I reject your offer, then you get nothing. The stranger gets nothing, you get nothing. Now, what bothers me in the video that I watched that teaches this is they say the logical path is the stranger should accept any deal because the stranger starts with 0, and whatever percentage the person receiving the money making the dividing, whatever it is, if it's just a penny, it's a penny more than what you had. So logic dictates always, apparently, that you, if you're the stranger, you take the money, no matter what, the dollar, whatever it is. But they've done the experiments, and that's not what happens. Humanity has a built-in desire for fairness, as it turns out. Which is great, because that's the spirit wave message. Pure might, pure stability, pure balance, literally extreme power to the people, purely, equitably speaking, as a certainty. Not a religion, not a philosophy, not my opinion. I'm not going down that path right now. We're going to stick to game theory. This one example. So what the experiments show is that basically anything less than 30%, the stranger rejects the offer. Why? Because the stranger would rather not get any money and prevent the person who is stingy, who is taking too much for themselves, the hoarder, right? This person outside who's making the divide, the person outside who's choosing what share to take and what share to give is doing so unfairly by the perspective of the person within the room, the stranger, who rejects it, says, well, I'd rather lose it all and not get anything, but I get the reward from making sure that you, outside of this room, you don't get anything either. And that's what you get for being a cheap asshole. That's what you get for being selfish. And what does the spirit wave said? 50-50, why not? Take $50, give $50, move on. And why? Because balance is might. The supreme balance is reality is the totality of whatever happens, which equals pure might itself, which is naturally the all-powerful being, which gives us perfect stability and therefore perfect balance as the governing law of us all, a law that tragically is utterly missing because humanity doesn't like it. Because humanity keeps angling towards that law in a way where circumstance is control. And humanity hates that. If circumstance is control, then my humanity is not in control, and therefore I have no purpose nor accountability. Fuck that. So we just keep retreating from it. Don't tell me circumstances control. Meritocracy. My ego is in control. I'm in control. I dominate over everyone else for status. I'm in control, says the billionaires who tell you that they've earned their ability to be high status through merit and meritocracy. And yet, they don't ever want to talk about the fall. I'll get back to the game theory thing. Stream of conscious. Yes. They don't want to talk about the fall. Emperors rise and fall. I will say that a lot because it's critical. Kings, conquerors, billionaires, dictators, mob bosses, thugs, bullies, sadists, all rise, all fall. Every single one of them. Reality as the totality of whatever happens, pure might itself, pure stability, pure balance, perfectly present as presence itself. And there's no free lunch because of that supreme balance. And so all the emperors, all the egotists, the billionaires who say, oh, I worked to rise. I worked to be in this position. Well, how do you explain the fall? You don't think you're going to fall? You think you're going to beat reality itself? You can't even defy reality because you're obviously a part of reality. The house always wins, and reality is the totality of whatever happens is genuinely the universal house. You cannot beat it. There are times when you can harmonize with it, and that's what I share here in Spirit Wave form. Certainty, not philosophy, not religion. But I have to kind of do whatever this is with it. I can't just come out, sit behind a regular reporter's desk as an anchor person and tell you the news of the Spirit Wave. No, I'm not going to publish a book. I'm going to do this. Whatever this is. Art. This is art, of course. Art. Game theory. Why is that illogical for the person in the other room to say, you know what? You're a cheap asshole. You're a fuckface. And I'm going to fucking say no. I'm going to take away your ability to enjoy 1 penny of that free money because you're an asshole. There's nothing illogical about that. So don't tell me how it's logical to take anything over zero. The problem that humanity faces is we spin logic. We say something is logical or it's illogical, but that's not really how it works. Thousands of years ago, or whatever it was, a storm would appear and humanity back then would be like, oh, the gods are angry, right? Zeus, right? It didn't make any sense. The dark clouds thickening, appearing out of nowhere, wet water, rain pouring down, the wind whipping all over the place, cracks of light in the sky flashing, followed by this thunderous sound that shakes the earth. The gods are angry. This doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. What does your science have to say about that thousands of years ago? Nothing. Except we're not thousands of years ago, we're now. And the scientific community has learned a lot about why the elements of the storms are what they are. And as it turns out, it makes sense. It's logical. So, did the storms change? No. They're the same storms, the same basic formula, same basic idea. It's just that our perspective of reality has shifted in a direction where we have better understanding. Right? Did the storms change? No. They weren't illogical. They've been logical the entire time. Right? They were always what the scientists today are saying the storms were. But we couldn't connect to that. So logic is not about the limitations of the brain and what our brains, whether individually or collectively, what we deem as logical. That's not what logic is. Logic also exists outside of that expression. It's just we don't have the ability to connect with it right now. But as you learn about the spirit wave, it's all logic. It all makes sense. Perfect sense. The universe, the totality of whatever happens, equals pure might itself, which is naturally the all-powerful being, which is naturally inherently stable, perfectly, which equals pure balance, and that balance is the pure universal order. All that I just said, you can put critical thinking to it, you will realize that it lines up perfectly. Well, where's the chaos? Where's the disorder? Chaos requires a confusing set of distinctions, and there aren't any. In fact, my nose is itching again. There's no one in prominent science who can prove the contrary, that one distinction, one, exists where we perceive it to be. That's a fact. And basically, it boils down to the uncertainty principle. A particle is not a distinction. They describe them as fuzzy, blurry expressions. Probability wave, right? Which is seamless. Waves are seamless. Right? You go to see the ocean, the top of the water there. There's no hardcore separation between the waves. It all just blends in. That's reality, which means you are reality. Objectively, you, logically speaking, are the supreme being. You are pure might itself. No philosophy, no religion. Right? As easy as that. That's why you want to watch these videos every other week. to connect with the buildup. This is an artistic expression, and it's building up. And if you don't want to miss out, be a part of it. And if you do want to miss out, then ask the question why. Look, I know it. I'm not perfect at this. I get it. I can be a turnoff. I can be obnoxious at times. I get it. I really do. I work on it though. See, my thing that I love about this, I watch this video when I'm done, and I get to step outside of myself and say, okay, that these are areas I need to improve. I get it. And I'm just going to do it without obsessing over it. Because I want to be the best artist I can be and express and share what it is I am as a human being as healthily as possible. And that's it. Why? So it is logical that the stranger in the room will reject the offer if it's like under 30%. That makes sense to me. That's not illogical. What's happening here is there's a frame issue. Let's bring in another example. There's an auction. $20 bill is the item that's being auctioned. Okay. So the bidding starts, but here's the rule. Here's the other rule. Whoever has the highest bid gets the $20 bill, right? But whoever is the second highest bidder, they have to pay their bid and they get nothing, right? So we start. It starts $1, $2, $3. It just keeps going up until we get to one bidder's got $19 as the high bid, and the other has $18 as the second highest bid. So what happens? Well, the one who's got the 18 says, I'm going to bid $20 because even though that breaks even, at least I can win the auction at $20 and then I don't lose $18. See? So that bidder of the $18 says, $20 to break even. Now this is where it gets interesting. So the $19 person says, well, I don't want to lose $19. So I'm going to bid $21 for a $20 bill, a $1 loss if winning the auction, but at least it's not $19 lost. And so the trap is shut, and it just keeps going and going and going and going because nobody wants to lose all that money. Now that's game theory. But who the fuck is going to do that auction? Nobody. Nobody in their right mind would do that auction. Nobody. For me, I would just let go. As soon as I see that I'm in the trap, I'd say, you can pay for $20. I'm out of this. I'm not playing this game anymore. And that is a logical expression without a doubt, right? Prisoner's dilemma. This is the big one. Very popular out there. You can search on it. Prisoner's dilemma. Two people are arrested for robbing a bank, but the police don't have enough evidence to convict them of major crime. They can convict them of minor crime, but not major crime. So they got both prisoners isolated from each other, and they make a deal. Okay. If you rat out your pal, and your pal doesn't rat you out, then you get 0 jail time and your pal gets 10 years. If you both rat each other out, you both get 5 years. If you don't rat out your partner and your partner does not rat out on you, you both get 1 year of prison. Now, if you don't rat out your partner, your pal, and your pal rats out on you, you get 10 years in prison and your partner / pal goes free. That's the prisoner's dilemma right there. So, of course, there's an incentive with that framing of the situation to rat out your so-called pal. Because at worst, you go to prison for 5 years and not 10. Right? And that right there is the ugly part of humanity. This is why the spirit wave is supreme game theory. Because we can now step outside of that context and realize the ultimate expression of value. In the prisoner's dilemma, at best, you would rat out your pal like a scumbag, and you get 0 jail time while your pal, who is loyal to you, who upheld the honor of thieves, or whatever, there's no honor among thieves, but whatever, right? Your pal, for whatever reason, really just said, I know my buddy's got my back, and I'm not going to throw my buddy under the bus. Well, your buddy threw you under the bus, and now you get 10 years in prison, and your buddy just went off scot-free. 0 jail time. Now, we're all supposed to end it there. This is the problem with humanity. Humanity wants to wrap things up within reality and say, that's it. There's nothing more to say. Bullshit. Reality is the totality of whatever happens equals pure might, pure stability, pure balance, and that supreme balance has everything to say about this situation. You did not get out of prison, fuckface. You are now on the line to pay reality, because reality doesn't do a free lunch. There's no free lunch. There's always a catch. So you think that you won the game. You did not win, because reality is an expression of balance. There is no free lunch. There's no free guilt. This is why the sadists are dangerous, why the psychopaths, the sociopaths, the narcissists, the thugs, the bullies, the dictators, this is why they are dangerous to themselves as well as the rest of us. Because in order to justify what they do, they have to believe in a free lunch. They have to believe in permanent victory, which is a fantasy. It doesn't exist. And this reality demonstrates that fact purely by the very nature of itself. And all of humanity ignores it because we at large don't like it. Tough shit. Ignore this. Ignore me. Turn this off. Don't ever come back. I don't care. Because I'm heading towards responsible success. Even though I gotta pay for it. And I've been paying for it. There's no doubt about it. You can just look at me, for crying out loud. Don't I look like someone who's been paying? I've been paying my dues. Wow. Have I paid my dues in life? Wow. Over half a century of paying my dues, and here I am talking about the buildup. We're not done yet. You see, that's the problem with game theory. But it's not just game theory. It's all of humanity's expressed strategies. They are all incomplete in the absence of the spirit wave. The spirit wave is the certainty-based way to connect us to reality as the totality of whatever happens, which equals pure might itself. It's actuality might. It's happening right now. It's happening right here, right now, always, our entire lives. And we're pretending like that doesn't matter when it comes to might, which is insanely idiotic. And that's why the world is driven by perseverance. It's the bully war. The people who need to one up and push people down to do that. That's the bully war. A bully is someone who harms somebody else to gain a leg up. Right? This is what our world is now. But in order to have social health requires social stability, which equals social balance. It's not higher status than everybody else, it's purely equitable status. And right now, the only people who believe in that believe that you need a government to legislate that equality. No. No. The people who run the world, in the public sector and the private sector, the people who run the world have the exact same mentality. You can't tell them to make rules that cripple their belief in furthering their power. They will never do that. But you have all these people, like the government, more regulations, more law. It's like, they don't work. They don't work. One law does. The rule of reality. The path to power is the path to powerlessness in a balanced reality. And the path to powerlessness is the path to power in a balanced reality. This is demonstrably a balanced reality based upon the totality of whatever happens, which equals pure might, stability, balance. And I need to learn how to better express, and this buildup just builds and builds and builds, and there's tension here. And if you're just seeing all this tension, you're like, this guy sucks. I don't want to watch this shit. I'm not going to give this asshole a like. I'm not going to subscribe. I'm not going to follow this shit. This guy's out of his mind. Look at him. He's talking about himself in the third person. He's criticizing himself in the third person. Okay, so I'm a little bit crazy. But I'm not completely crazy. Everything I've been saying about the spirit wave is right. And if humanity connects to that, humanity will thrive. We can extend what we are. We can improve what we are. Because we've already paid over the span of thousands, if not millions of years. We've already paid with perseverance and suffering and the misery of getting it wrong. Because the bully war is wrong. The people in the big club, as George Carlin put it, the club that none of us are in, whatever, except that small group of people. That's Club Icarus. Emperors rise and fall. They all do, every single one of them. Reality's got a perfect record against every single person on this planet. Nobody escapes death. Nobody. Stream of consciousness. I live stream if I get a chance to do it once, twice a week, ideally between 9-ish to 11-ish Eastern time, midnight. And I'll just keep doing my best, but you see, I'm burdened. I got all this shit to do, and that's ruining my energy, ruining my life. So I need financial support from you. So instead of just being 1 or 2 views, there's got to be more to that. But I can't be an asshole in trying to trick people to give me money. So I can't do that. I have to actually do this the right, hard way. And that's what this is. And maybe I'll die this way. Oh well. I'm going to die eventually anyways. And I've already connected with the spirit wave, so I already know that I am reality itself. You are too. The difference is I've been immersed in that for a very long time. I'm not afraid of death. My time will come to die, and it's okay. Because the totality of reality, just look at the observable universe. I mean, compared to my humanity is very, very small. So when I die, all the rest of my true reality self remains. It's not a big deal. Death isn't a big deal. It's okay to try to survive and try to live your best life and experience your life. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't take it too seriously. So every other week, these videos come out. I pick a time on Friday. It's not the same time, so I just recommend Saturdays being the earliest, the best time to kind of consistently get access to the buildup, to this artistic expression that continues to build and build and build. I'm working on a Discord server. I want to tune it right because the buildup eventually crescendos into the accurate expression that invites you all to experience